There's no making it weird quite like high school health class you made it weird. Because you're adopted and you're in high school health class and your class is being taught by a guy who probably got hired to like coach baseball or wrestling or
mine
PE or something, and now he has to teach high school health and he's doing the best he can. I feel for the guy, but he made it weird.
Yeah. Always making it weird. So we actually received a question on our Facebook from Isabella kind of talking about this. You know, the question is, when does this stop? When do people stop making things weird? Never.
They don't.
It's really cold. It's like really cold.
Why are we outside doing
I don't know. This is dumb. I'm gonna go inside.
For those of you that are watching from not Michigan, this is what it's doing in Michigan right now.
Yeah.
No, hey.
It's adoption day! Ah, it's so cold! I regret my decisions in life.
So I'm remembering my experiences growing up and how during the different stages of my life there was always at least a number of people that were trying to make it weird, right? Like as a kid you've got your parents, like friends or just random people coming up and saying stuff to your parents, and you remember that, and they made it weird.
Yep.
And as an adolescent, you know, in middle school, I remember it was history class or like whatever it was always social studies. They'd be talking about, you know, family tree projects and who's your great aunt whatever on this side, and I had no idea, right?
None.
And I remember that being a big deal. I had a little bit of a breakdown, I think, in like 6th grade. And then in high school, you've got like your health classes and stuff where they're talking about like all the biological issues. And like talking about the birds and bees, and I'm pretty sure, to the best of my understanding, there's a bunch of birds and bees are trying to have sex with them.
Yeah.
And that's where babies come from.
Yeah.
We can't say that on camera.
Sure we can. We can, and we did.
We just did.
We said it.
We said it. It's you heard it. You can't unhear it.
Nope.
I mean, in health class though, like there's a teacher that got roped into teaching that class, and they have to talk about, you know, the birds and the bees and sex and all this kind of stuff, and then ask like awkward questions, and they're always awkward. I've heard some pretty bad ones. Like one of the ones that was submitted was you know, go ask your parents if they've ever had a miscarriage, and like that's the worst. Why would you do that?
That's the dumbest question I've ever heard in my life.
Like, that's terrible.
Like, what? It's not your business.
That's not
Shut
your business.
up.
And your parents don't want to talk about that.
No.
I don't want to talk about that. There's no. I mean, that's the worst. The worst. That's terrible. You know, but it's this question of, you know, always it's some question about your origins, or some question about being a baby, or some question about where you came from, or the hospital, or something, right? There's always something that comes up throughout all of those educational processes, but there's always that context for, like, we're trying to teach you, and so it's the context of education. Whereas when we get to adulthood, we're constantly thinking, man, okay, when I'm adult, there's no longer going to be a context for this. There's never going to be a time when somebody's going to say, you know, for businessing this week, why don't you go home and ask your parents? Okay, we need to get this video done, and I need everybody to go talk to their parents about what contraceptives they used. I can't believe I just said that.
Gross. Questions like this do come up, you know. It sucks and it's stupid, but they do come up. It does happen. Time after time after time, it does happen. And it doesn't matter how close you are to the individual as well that's asking. You could be best friends with them and they could ask, and, you know, that's okay. It could be a complete stranger you've never met. They're still going to ask. Because people have no boundaries. We've talked about this many times.
I think as kids, or even as like a young adult in the high school range, there's kind of a question that comes up that at least I've thought of that when I'm out of school, is this gonna stop? Like, is this constant questioning about like
People ever get any smarter?
right? Do people ever not make it weird?
Yeah.
And that definitely came up a lot, as a kid, just thinking about this is fine. It's not fine. This is terrible.
Dumb.
But eventually it has to end, right?
Yeah. Nope.
But it doesn't. So I apologize for those of you that are us, 15, 20 years ago. The question, does it get less awkward, or do people ever stop asking? The answer,
Nope. It's sad. It sucks. But there are things that you can do in order to prepare for those questions coming up. There are things that you can think about now, or conversations that you can have now. So be preemptive in the whole thing, because people are not going to get any smarter.
you're just going to get more awesome.